I'm going to put together an autofill system for my aquaponics sump tank. I'm going to use a universal toilet fill valve. This one happens to be Fluid Master. My plan is to build a stand for this inside the sump out of PVC. And what I'm going to do is, if you just imagine there are straight pieces in here, I'm going to build just a sort of a stand. This middle T here is threaded on the inside, which is corresponds to the thread on here. So this will be held in the upright position like this. And then I will attach a fill line here. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the T opposite of where the threads are, that I'm going to thread that this piece into, and I took it to my drill press and I used a Forstner bit and I drilled a hole big enough to pass this nut through the bottom. So I threaded this part into the T-fitting, then I put the nut on from underneath through this hole with the hose attached, and then I just threaded it on the inside and then used a screwdriver to kind of just tap with just the palm of my hand gently to make sure it was completely tight, get it all the way tightened around. So now it's locked in pretty good. Now the only problem I have now is I've got this tube sticking out the bottom. Bit of tinkering and trial and error to come up with the configuration, but here is my fully operational automatic top-up valve assembly. It sits a little higher than I first had planned, but that's to accommodate the fill line that comes out the bottom of the T-fitting. But it worked out quite well. I adjusted the fill valve so that it will shut off the flow of water at the shallowest position. In other words, the overall height as well as the height of the float are at their lowest position. The water dripping from the bottom here is coming from the RO system. The RO tank is not pressurized yet, so there isn't enough flow to push the water up through the flow nipple. I solved that problem of the tube protruding from the bottom, which was causing the entire unit to tip, by utilizing this 90-degree 3/8" John Guest fitting. The gray toilet supply line, hidden now by the John Guest fitting, fits perfectly in the 3/8" connector. The 3/8" blue tube attached to the other end came from an old RO system. The RO system I'm using now for top-up water, however, uses 1/4" tubing. But that was easily fixed with this 3/8" to 1/4" John Guest adapter. The 1/4" line here leads over to the RO system that I will be installing underneath the grow beds and right next to the sump tank. I ran a 1/2" PVC pipe that tapped into the supply pipe for my hose bib on the side of the house for the RO supply water, and added a shutoff valve like you see here on each end. This 1/4" John Guest adapter screws into the PVC elbow. Here is the valve installed in the sump tank. The RO tank has some pressure now, and you can see the water flowing from the refill nipple. It's a slow flow, but it's all I need to make up for the water evaporation loss and plant uptake. This 2" PVC pipe that you see here is filled with river rock and capped on both ends, and that's just to make a weight to weigh down the valve assembly so it doesn't float. And here you can see the float in the off position. The grow beds now are filled, or in the filling stage, and the sump tank is full. So even if the grow beds are full of water, there'd be enough water in the sump to completely cover the pump.